All right, another subject for us to look at together, folks. I covered this a whole bunch of times. I even did a 2-hour live on it, but I want to bring it up to something modern. I want to bring this subject up to modern day times and stuff, like as far as this whole UFO thing and what they're saying. And you can it's just laughable that they're even putting on the news and making Showtime commercials about how we're closer than we've ever been to discovering ET. You know, every single time they jump on one of their little documentaries or something like that, they're always closer and closer and closer and closer. Apparently, there were ancient aliens back in the day, and even the ancient aliens were among us. So, in every turn of an age or turn of a year, centuries pass, and we're just getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Every time you see them, y'all, we're getting closer and closer to finally finding out the alien question. And if we are alone in the universe, that's all it takes to make somebody believe these days. Get on the news and say, if we are alone, are we really alone in the universe? Navy pilot says he discovered something he's never seen before. Let's blow it up on the news. I want to talk about that very story. It's probably the only story that they'll come out like it as many times they don't flash it over every network they can, because it's hard for them to keep on writing scripts and having people say things to make it believe that they are doing things like landing on the moon and coming into contact with other species and stuff like that. It's hard for them to make it. It's that hard for them to make it so believable. And they don't know anything, guys. They don't know where these things came from. Some Navy pilot just said they discovered something. Or whoever he was, we're going to find out who he is. Because it relates to Cooper, even, is which makes it even better as far as the technology. Now, we all know John Dewey. Cooper mentioned him about how a long time ago, and you're going to hear this quote in a minute too, because I'm going to play Cooper in a little bit to confirm, the things that I'm saying. John Dewey was an American philosopher, psychologist, and educational reformer whose ideas have been influential in education and social reform. He was one of the most prominent American scholars in the first half of the 20th century. And you're going to hear Bill Cooper talk about him as well. And of course, they're going to talk about Area 51. We all know Area 51 is the common name of a highly classified United States Air Force facility located within the Nevada Test and Training Range, a remote detachment is administered by Edwards Air Force Base. The facility is officially called Homey Airport or Groom Lake. And this is what and I'm only giving you the standard definition of all these things. Or they might mention, but I don't know what they do in this Wikipedia article or whatever, if these people fail to tell you, or if they mention in the article why a United States Air Force facility would deny it being exactly a United States Air Force facility that you got, a lot of people know it's Area 51. Why would you deny that it's that at first? Because I don't know if a lot of you guys know, at first they used to say that this was not a facility, but apparently they had to come to light and say it was. All right. Now, and the reason why, another thing about that is because Cooper made, I'll put these links in the description box, a video called Project Red Light 1 and 2, where he's out there as far as close as he can get to that testing facility and recording them. And he made 2 videos on it. One's like an hour and some change, and I think the other one's like an hour and some change, or maybe even 2 hours. And it's, so I want you I want you to consider all this stuff. And ufology is also a thing that we're going to expose. This is what a lot of the guys who get mad at me for just showing them basic truths and stuff. The Lulus, the real wackos and crazy people who just really want to have a menage a trois with an alien, and as youth, they listen to these people and stuff. But as far as Winky's definition or Wicca, Ufology is the investigation of unidentified flying objects by people who believe that they may be of extraordinary origins, where there are instances of government, private, and fringe science investigations of UFOs. Ufology is regarded by skeptics and science educators as a canonical example of a canonical example of pseudoscience. I'm just reading, y'all. I ain't trying to be like, if I pronounce something wrong, I ain't trying to be all, acting like I know everything or whatever. I'm just reading what it says here. And according to these people, flying saucers, this is like some kind of history thing. The first well-known UFO sighting occurred in 1947, when businessman Kenneth Arnold claimed to see a group of 9 high-speed objects near Mount Rainier in Washington while flying his small plane. You can go into more than that. I have all these links in the description box for you. But then I want to show you guys, there's something called a circular wing, right? I want you to look at this thing called a circular wing. Is what seems to look like is the average UFO, and anything UFO. Not what it doesn't have to be a alien space. It could be from just super high tech technology, which they do have. If you don't, they have this technology, and they give you to play with, and they're always rated. They have way more than what they give you to play with. They're way far advanced in like technology than any people who have the average cell phone. They think it's so amazing. Would never know. But anyway, a circular wing is a dish-shaped wing having the outer platform circle. If the aircraft has no fusage, a tail dish-shaped aircraft is sometimes described as a flying saucer. If the entire dish rotates, it's called a dish wing. Dish-shaped aircraft development dates back to World War II. It just amazes me that all these things they've already known about all this stuff for so long. And so-called Navy pilot can just jump up on the television set and say that they don't know where any of this stuff is coming from, and that they've never seen anything like this before, and they put it on the news. Just like they back in the day, it was like, I forgot, it was like a long time ago, supposedly there's a story about the aliens being at the White House, and they had like 3 different looking crafts in the background of Washington D.C. In front of the newspaper. It was a long time ago, and they were in a triangle shape, like all 3 of the 3 different crafts, and there was 3 different triangles apparently. I couldn't see the crafts, so you can only see the triangles. Just like with those fanboys who, when I asked them for proof, I simply asked them, like, well, can you just give me some proof, or can you, like, show them what you're talking about? Because they be swearing on their mama's grave that they saw an alien or alien crash landed in their bedroom, in their closet, and they have proof, but or they give you a video, you can't really see it. And I always say stuff because it's funny. They're like, oh, it's just so blurry. You can't really tell. But if you squint your eyes, or if you hold it upside down, or if you do this to the picture, you can see it. Just like how they free all the reptilian, humanoid, shapeshifting lizard people. I mean, people today just believe the most woo-woo, lulu, come back down to reality, my friends. Stuff is what they believe. Crap like that. Circular wing. Oh, I already went there. Look at this. Here's a version of it. No, that's not one. These are the starting years of it. This one. Here it is. Where's it at? See also. I don't know. It was in here the other time. I was like, oh. Circular wings. Circular flying wings. This is the Arvcar under test. Main article. There's even footage on YouTube. It used to be a whole bit of Cooper channel, actually showing you them hovering these things right in front of your face. This was a VTOL aircraft developed by Arvo Canada as part of a secret U.S. military project carried out in the early years of the Cold War. The Arvcar intended to exploit the Coanda effect to provide lift and thrust from a single turbo rotor blowing exhaust out of the rim of the dish-shaped aircraft in the air. It would have resembled a flying saucer. These things have been around for so freaking long. Like, look at this. Introduction, 1958. Retired, supposedly, or what they say, 1961. Primary users, United States Air Force intended. United States Army intended. Originally designed as a fighter-like aircraft capable of very high speeds and altitude, the project was really scaled back over time, and the U.S. Air Force eventually abandoned it. Yeah, or the Air Force probably might have developed was because some of these people they either lying, they know that this is that who's doing it, or they really are. Nobody tells them anything, and they don't, and even though they're in the Navy or they're whatever, and so when they tell the story, of course, it's just like somebody, they feel like they really believe they were abducted by aliens, even though it's probably a psychological type operation by the government. If they truly believe it, anybody else who's listening to them when they retell their story is truly going to believe it as well. Gotta understand that and mess with people's minds. That's why Cooper would have guests on like who claim to be abducted. They then he would start asking them things, and they would start saying how having vague memories of how they saw people around and all this stuff. And he was been saying before you even invited him on that this was all psychological operation, including all the movies, Men in Black, Mars Attacks, everything, getting people to getting the alien propaganda that it's definitely is a possibility. It's so funny because I'm gonna tell you right now, all these wannabe smart guys are running around telling you you have to be stupid in this day and age not to believe that there's extraterrestrial life out there. These dudes are the most moronic wannabe keyboard warriors in the world, and they just believe that is their fantasy. They want this stuff to be true, or they want to match it up with or some kooks want to match it up with the Bible and say that I know a lot of people about this right leaving, so they're not no fallen demon alien angels. They did not turn to no damn aliens in the physical form and to people, metaphors, symbology. But hey, some people get kicked out of that. That's what they do, whatever. I used to be a tracer like that. I think I was dream child, what do you call it, a sunflower seed from the Pleiadians and all this stuff. But I'm sad to be the one to tell you guys it's not true. And I'm trying to leave this video thing open because I want to play a Cooper video. And if I'll do a part 2 if this video doesn't come through. It comes through all choppy because usually when I make these videos, after 7 minutes, it starts chopping up, and I hope it's not the case with this one. And if it does, I have to make a part 2 to show this video that I'm gonna eventually lead up. I mean, the video that I'm about to show right now. But I was just telling you some things along the way. Like, I don't mind what people believe and stuff like that. But when I ask these guys like simple proof, sometimes one time like on the old channel, I did like a live for 2 hours, and I asked, and this is when I had like a whole bunch, at least over 20,000 subscribers, and I just kept asking everybody who knows all this stuff and can prove it, and they know and prove it and all that stuff, give me a little bit of stuff to look at. But then they don't want to do that, and then they want to get mad, and they say, well, you want proof? A wise man just knows. You have to use your consciousness to think outside the box. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that so many times. I used to say it too. Blah 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 blah. Imagination. I don't want to hear about your imagination. I ask you a simple thing. Can you prove it? Can you prove Bigfoot? Can you prove the reptilians? Can you do all this other stuff? You're gonna hide behind some other theory or some other presentation. Somebody with a button-up shirt on the television set with a little microphone, brainwashing you for 5 hours and still answers no questions for you at all. But somehow you want to leave me to go listen to this person who never had this type of inside information as Cooper did and never looked at documents. And also, you guys, I can tell you what these guys will say. They'll say, oh well, this has happened since then he couldn't have known this and he couldn't have known that and so on and so on. And this is another thing, y'all, they don't understand. It's not about who's right and wrong. These dudes are so childish. I'm not saying everybody who believes in this, but these dudes who do this stuff, they're so childish. And they get offended because I tell them, like, I'm gonna expose all this stuff. And I'm like, just like the ufology, that's why I uploaded ufology on the Milton William Bill channel tonight. Because I'm gonna put that in the description box. Or I might even play the opening of it after I play the other video I'm getting to. But I'm trying to just get you to understand that I do like 2 hour lives for them. I say, prove it. And they just get mad. Tell me just to, evaluate, what do you call it? operate on a higher vibrational frequency than I'm operating on, and they understand what they're doing. Until then, I'm just the idiot that's still stuck in this world. But they understand that is the Luciferian philosophy. I am God. If I get enough knowledge from different places, not whom broom gurus, and I cross my legs, I'm sitting there and all this Luciferian stuff is gonna somehow make me conquer the world, just like Christ did. No offense to anybody, religious or not. You're not understanding what I'm trying to say, because I don't have anything against anybody's religion or Christ. But again, that super state, these dudes, it's not about what I believe, it's about what we can prove, and it's about what really is said and what really isn't said, or what really, and what are fabrication from people's minds, or from just the people's minds of people who want that to be true. And you can call me a party pooper, say whatever, but this is I'm buzzkill, but this is real life. Somehow I'm buzzkill. The truth is the truth. Buzzkill my ass. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here. If I can't prove something, sit here and just keep telling people it's real when it's not. I don't get down like that over here. I'm gonna watch this video because supposedly Navy guy I was telling you guys about. Well, I'll let the news tell it. I just remember what I said about Cooper's about John Dewey, why I read about John Dewey, who he is, how he's connected to the public school system and everything like that. And I'll show you all this like Cooper tell you about the personal side he had. And I made a little mix of this video. Like I said, I really hope it comes out clear and it doesn't chop all the way through this video. Can be really, really mad if it does. You guys don't understand how many lives I made over, or semi-lives, whatever you consider this is. But yeah, so then that's why you guys are like some of the videos, you're like, what idiot would just like this and so it's not really necessarily them just like it. There's a lot of people I tell the truth, I don't bull crap around, I don't entertain stuff that can't be proven. So they go and they stop me and they just thumbs down everything I do. They just make sure they're the first one to do it. Because again, that's their intelligence level. But it's like if you have a YouTube channel, you're telling me all of this stuff in the comment section. And when I give you the opportunity, around. Even if I get off on a live or something, you couldn't ask you the question or give me the proof in the live. You can still leave your information and everything. But they don't want to do that because they don't want to get embarrassed. Which is just supposed to just automatically believe it or stupid.
The Imperial Mission 1917, a record of the reception throughout the United States of the special mission headed by Viscount Ishii. And when the Imperial Japanese mission was in New York City, they had a dinner and some pretty famous people spoke at this dinner. One of them was John Dewey. John Dewey is the father of our failing, disastrous public education system. Here's what he said. Listen very carefully. John Dewey, professor of philosophy in Columbia University, who was the next speaker, was listening to with great intentness. He said, quote, "Someone remarked that the best way to unite all the nations on this globe would be an attack from some other planet. In the face of such an alien enemy, people would respond with a sense of unity of interest and purpose." Unquote. Now, bear in mind, folks, that's 1917.
So, like, I just want to finish on the last point. I said. For those of you who want to explain all this stuff, that's fine. But look, you have platforms and videos and things that I'm gonna just give you some friendly advice. If you're that adamant about proving it or whatever, you have a whole platform to do it. Instead of trying to, impress people in the comment sections, do something creative and show everybody all that stuff you're talking about with your channel, and then piece it together so people can understand. Then you won't have any reason to get mad when people don't understand your side of view. I'm not saying you can't be have some kind of logical explanation, like about the whole reptilian shape-shifting thing. Some guy gave me an actual explanation that made sense. It wasn't connected to the whole crazy, like they take off their heads and dungeons engines and stuff like Queen Elizabeth and all of them, or Donald Trump shapeshifts into a reptilian shape, can shapeshift or whatever. But he explained the theory in another way that wasn't, you know, all the never-ending story type dramatization. And I was like, it made a whole lot more sense. I'm not saying I believe every single word of it, but again, it's not about these one thing. It's not about being right and wrong. That's what they're stuck on. Right and wrong about one little thing we argued about. They want to drag it on for 12 days. Dude, it's not about being right or wrong. Cooper's message was about getting the information out and saying that some of the stuff might be wrong. And if it is wrong, correct me, let me know, and then I can correct it live on air and, you know, and admit my mistake. But these new age guys, they want to be so smart. It's all about them being right. So here we go. We're going to continue into the new age. And we're going to show you some stuff from recent things going on with this whole UFO thing. UFO videos taken by Navy pilots.
Yeah, but look on the SA. My gosh. We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Oh, big dude.
The footage shows unidentified objects flying at high speeds through the Earth's atmosphere. And the suicide flying objects remain unidentified to this day. The declaration is meant to clear up any misconceptions by the public. Just clarification. One video was taken in 2004 and the other two in 2015. The video was taken during training flights and leaked to the New York Times in 2017. The New York Times, yeah. The U.S. Navy formalized a reporting process in 2019 for pilots to report incidents of UFOs. UFO sightings. Of course, the CNBC. It's like ABC, CNN. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. It's the easiest one. I don't know. Look, first, whatever they said. I don't know if they said brightness or worldwide. I mean, broadcasting. What they said. Either way, it's worldwide. It's to take over your body. Let me stop. This is Bill Cooper's personal UFO sighting.
Because I did so much in my life. I went into the Air Force. I was in the Strategic Air Command for 4 years as an aircraft and missile hydraulic technician, which is, I worked on the pneumatic and hydraulic systems of B-52 bombers, KC-135 aircraft, and Minuteman missiles. I had a secret security clearance. That's where I saw my first atomic bomb. I mean, we worked around in these planes, especially the ones on the alert pad, were always loaded, ready to go drop these bombs at a moment's notice. But while I was in the Air Force, I met sergeants, men who were older than me, and had been in the Air Force for quite a while, told me that they had participated in projects that had recovered crashed extraterrestrial craft, what we call UFOs. And they never told these stories unless they had quite a bit to drink. So I never really believed it. I thought, well, these guys are running a scam on me, you know, even though I'd heard about these things when I was a kid. I just still didn't believe it. Because it's just so far out of left field, it's not something that you really give any serious thought to until something personal happens that came here. While I left the Air Force, I went into the Navy, which is really where I wanted to be in the first place. I'd always had this tremendous feeling connection with the ocean. I was an excellent swimmer, but I had a problem as a child. I had chronic motion sickness. I got in the car and we went on a long trip. I got deadly ill. Same with boats or anything. I couldn't ride on the things at the carnival that went around because it just made me tremendously ill. But I decided after I had gone through the Air Force, if there was sick or not, you know, I was going to go in the Navy because that's really what I wanted to do. So I did. Volunteered for submarine duty and was assigned USS Tyru SS-416, which was a diesel-electric boat, World War II type, that had been reconfigured. When I went on board the boat, it was in the dry dock at Pearl Harbor, in the shipyard, and had literally been cut in half, and they put in a 12 experience that we had. It wasn't a nuclear submarine, but as far as the ability to approach, get close to a target and destroy it, it had a better capacity to do that than any other boat that we had. While we were on a transit from the Portland, Seattle area on the surface, I actually saw, I was at Port Lookout, and I saw the most incredible thing that I think I've ever seen in my life. And it had such a profound effect upon my view of the universe and the world that we live in, that I wish everybody could experience this. I saw come up out of the ocean, from beneath the surface of the sea, a huge disc-shaped craft about the size of a midway-class aircraft carrier, which is tremendous in size. Even though that's one of our smallest carriers there was then, it's still a huge, tremendously big object. Came up out of the ocean and rose into the air and tumbled on its axis and went up into the clouds, and I was awestruck, dumbstruck. And I mean dumbstruck, literally, I could not utter a sound. My first impulse was to tell the officer of the deck that I see a flying saucer, and then, luckily for me, I couldn't talk, because on second thought, that's not what I really wanted to say, because I didn't want to be the only Looney Tunes character on a submarine with a tight-knit crew that you had to live in close quarters with, because that's a hell of a way to live. So I told the officer of the deck that I'd seen something about 15 degrees off the port bow at a relative distance of about 2.5 nautical miles. And he began to look in that area. And the starboard lookout had heard me tell him this, and he began to look over there. And while we were all three watching, either the same craft or another one exactly like it came down out of the clouds, tumbled again on its why it did this maneuver, I don't know, but every single time it did it. So it came down in this attitude, and then it flipped over, and then entered the water. And the water just appeared to open up in front of it. It's just like the account in the Bible about the parting of the Red Sea. That's exactly what happened. The sea actually parted, and this thing went into the water.
Now look. Okay. Now I'm going to skip forward.
Close up behind it, and this big spray went up into the air. But it wasn't a spray from the craft hitting the water. It was a spray from the water coming back in to fill up this hole that it had created.
Now we're going to skip to another sighting that is recent that I found.
And, wall. So I was looking at a technology that is for anybody to know about it. And there's just a world, and we are ignoring it.
I gotta find a part of the video.
Many ways, I believe,
You telling me I did? Oh, here it is.
Same month, around the same area.
I just want you to reflect.
There, Shep. Yeah, first it was that upside-down pyramid flying over it.
You know I gotta run that back. First I want you to think about what you just heard Bill Cooper talk. He tells this version of this story again in another encounter. I mean, in another, like in a lecture type thing. The Sedona, Arizona lecture. It's on the main channel. But I just want you to just remember what he said about, or remember his story. And this is our news.
Hey there, Shep. Yeah, first it was that upside-down pyramid flying over a Navy destroyer back in 2019. Now we have new video taken from the same month around the same area, but this time it was something flying near one of the Navy's stealth ships when it suddenly plunged into the water and disappeared.
Whoa, it's getting close.
On a pitch-black night off the coast of California, newly leaked video allegedly shows one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unknown object in the sky. And after a few minutes,
Splashed. Mark bearing range.
the 2019 footage obtained by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who last month released another video of an upside-down pyramid UFO hovering above a Navy destroyer.
Are you kidding me? So they're basically saying the same guy. Isn't that that's another coincidence? It's almost like the coronavirus coincidences. Ain't that a coincidence? The same guy caught two different funny-looking spacecrafts, and there was also they open up this news story talking about some flying upside-down pyramid, and then this clown comes and says something else about a pyramid. Take it away, buttface.
Leaked video allegedly shows one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unknown object in the sky. And after a few minutes,
Splashed. Mark bearing range.
the 2019 footage obtained by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who last month released another video of an upside-down pyramid UFO hovering above a Navy destroyer.
Now, you people out there have been ignoring the UFO phenomenon for too long. It has all the earmarks of the most successful, most sophisticated mind control operation in the history of the world, and you are ignoring it. What better way to implement a plan to bring about a one-world government than to create the possibility in the minds of the people of the world that we are being threatened from some other species, from some other planet, and do it in a way that if anybody questions it or challenged it or wants to talk about it publicly, that they are ridiculed.
And the ultimate goal is to make the earth look very small, to present the people of the world with an external threat to this earth, a superior race from some other planet, vastly superior to us in intellect, philosophy, and technology, in order to cause the dissolution of nation states, the dissolution of all existing religions, and the formation of the world totalitarian socialist government.
Now, I clear some things up. He said this is a possibility, and this is all based on things that he has seen, not based on things that came from his own mind or his own ideas. So just want to clear that up from people who think, who go around saying, oh, he said this, but then he went back on it and said that. What he said was, this is what he saw in top secret documents, not this is what I just came up with in my mind. So all these things that they're saying, oh, he said some crazy stuff too, is because they don't understand. They don't know when he's quoting people. They don't know when he's talking about somebody else's belief, and when he's trying to tell them that somebody else's belief. When he does that, sometimes they think he's trying to tell them that this is what he believes. People just and then they jump to their conclusions, start running their mouth about stuff they don't know from other people that they heard. Just come to all these conclusions, start saying he said this, he said that. And I ain't talking about with Cooper, I'm talking about with anything, any subject. Any freaking subject. They can't prove it, but any subject. Shoot, even with the freaking Tupac subject. People think that it's crazy for somebody to think that somebody could fake their death but there is absolutely no proof, not one shred of evidence that Tupac was ever killed. I know that you sound like a conspiracy theory, but it's like, no, that's just, we need solid evidence. You don't die, lose tattoos, and not one thing of your death can be proven. You know what I mean? Like, that's just suspicious. But people think because it happened so long ago and they don't understand the terms of how it happened and how everything can't be proven, they think it would be a conspiracy theory to even still think that now today. But it has never been proven that Tupac Shakur was ever officially deceased. You can believe that or not. Everything depends on your study and what you look into. But I only talk about things that I know about. And that's one true fact, another story that I can tell you about that I know about. And then they come up with elaborate stories with that. People just entertain themselves with silliness. He did it, but he works with the Illuminati, and it just because they don't know people, they don't research people. They hear a good theory and they run with it. But if this live or semi-live, whatever you want to call it, has skipped, it's too late. Oh yeah, also I'm gonna put the Majesty 12 document in here because that's what he wrote about what he saw, about what he. This is the documents that Cooper wrote about what he saw. And that's a good one. So I'll remember to do that. Right now, I'm just gonna play I'm gonna play the beginning of the youth where he exposes ufology, and a lot of the guys that they want people who don't really know Cooper like that, or people who don't investigate, they want to associate with Cooper, which is the ufology movement or whatever. We read that, right? Didn't we read about that? Yeah, we read about it. That's why I read all those things in the beginning. Because it already skipped by now. But I just uploaded that, so let's go to Where am I at? Then while I'm doing this, I can show you guys the cool channel that I have for the extraterrestrial subject. I had like 130 video playlists on my old channel, but we all know what happened to that. If I just decided to do channels on certain subjects, I'm trying to explain on one channel to everybody, like, you know, certain things. I just like, and all these channels aren't complete, but I got one like on Waco, one on the Boston, the Oklahoma City bombing, and things like that. And they're just, I guess you call it prototypes. I don't know, but until I get all the main work out the way, I'll go back to those. But there's one called where it's just Cooper on aliens, and this some other stuff I probably gotta add to it. But where's it at? Dang it, I didn't subscribe to it. Bill Cooper on ETs and aliens. I think that's the channel name. Come on, man. Why are you gonna do it like this? I thought that was David Icke. First, when I was scrolling through, I thought that was Icke. What the hell is my channel? Joe Rogan's show behind. There's another show that you will follow. Talks about a book and things that you don't know nothing about it. Alright, come on now. I might have to just switch to the channel on here. See? Play. Alright, let me just go to the channel real quick on here. Gals. But, and again, it ain't nothing against what somebody believes, and me trying to pick on anybody or anything like that. It don't have nothing to do with any of that. It's just don't expect me to entertain something that you can't even prove. What was I doing? Comments. It's a dang, they censored this comment. I can see a little bit of it. You see how they do me? It's weird, the comments that they censor too. Okay, but okay. Right here. I want you just to listen to the beginning of this.
This is the voice.
This is another reason why the New Age guys don't like me or Cooper, because he exposed all of these guys.
Freedom. A comet means supposed bombarding. You're listening to the hour of the time. I'm William Cooper. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been bombarded lately with a plethora of extraterrestrial alien claims, supposed abductions, phony government documents, a comet coming toward the Earth with a mysterious spaceship accompanying it, larger than the Earth itself, hollow and sending out warning messages as it gets closer. And I could go on and on and on. What is going on? And who is bringing it about? And what is its purpose?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be exploring some of the things that are being perpetrated on us, and we're going to try to answer some of those questions, and some of those answers are just going to boggle your mind. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
I can show you the world. Well, I pretty much said all my thoughts on this subject. And like I said, if this video skipped, it already skipped by now, so I'm just leave you with this.
There's another atmosphere, often known as Dreamland, or the desert at Lake Room. 26 miles under Vegas is where they landed on the moon. I'm gonna follow the sun out to Area 51. I'll watch the sunset at the mountain, oh, when the test is done. Oh, I'm gonna follow the sun out to Area 51. I gotta be there in the desert.